More on this, let's bring in Jayson Jay Smart. He's a political analyst. He joins me now from Kiev. Good to see you. Good to have you on the show, Jason. Let me begin by asking you about this dam. I mean, we all know, since the start of this conflict, that the dam has been earmarked as a potential target. With its destruction now, we're hearing that Ukrainian officials are saying that this is one of Europe's biggest disasters, war crimes, ecocide are some of the terms that are being used. How do you think this is going to change the dynamics of the conflict?
Well, I think this is just a clear sign that Russia is engaged in terrorism in Ukraine. And this is just the latest step of it. Yes, for months now, at least 6, 7 months, we've been talking about the potential for this dam being destroyed by Russia in order to halt any sort of Ukrainian advance into the region. And we saw that today. And the results of that is not just the sinking of a number of villages along the way, the city of Kherson itself being put into jeopardy and itself being flooded now, but a lot of smaller things as well. I mean, how many houses, how many people, tens of thousands of people are going to be displaced by this. Zoos were totally flooded. All the animals have died. It's a tragedy, and it's going to destroy all the wildlife in the region. And yes, it is going to slow the counteroffensive, but it doesn't change the fact. At this point, it's clear to everybody why Russia must be completely expelled from Ukraine. It is engaged in terrorism on the soil of Ukraine and must be sent back to Russia.
There has been anticipation of this spring offensive for a while. Maybe we're seeing signs of it with the activity around Bakhmut. How do you see things playing out on the battlefield in the short to medium term?
Well, I think that a lot has changed recently, not just because of the dam break. Let's look what else is going on. Belgorod Oblast has Russians who are supported by Ukraine running around the oblast in southern Russia. And the Russian military is unable to stop them. We see that in Bryansk and Kursk, which are also regions of Russia. There are Ukrainian-backed Russians seeking to overthrow Putin, running through the southern part of Russia, and the Russian military is unable to stop them, which is truly dramatic when you think about it. The Russian military is unable to control its own territorial integrity and its own borders. It no longer has a monopoly on violence within its own country. And the fact is that it's a situation that is truly out of control. Russia is losing control of its own country. So the ability to be able to gain somewhere in, for instance, Bakhmut or after Bakhmut is totally unrealistic for Russia. Yesterday, Ukraine gained, I think it was about 14 or 1,600 meters of territory in the Bakhmut region. Russia is in a very bad way, and it seems this is why Prigozhin and the Wagner Group is pulled out. It seems that things are going very badly for Russia right now in its attempt to overtake Ukraine.
I feel that we might be on a very precarious precipice. Since you brought up Belgorod, let me ask you about that. We're seeing increased attacks on the Russian side of the border. The Ukrainians are being armed with weapons that have longer range. F-16s are could be coming into play pretty soon. The fact that we're seeing this type of activity on the Russian side of the border, how's this going to play in?
Well, it's dramatic. I mean, for Putin himself to be able to pledge to his population that the war in Ukraine was necessary to protect Russia's state interest, and then to have part of the country under, let's call it, liberation movements sent by Ukraine, is something that's very hard to justify. I mean, how does Putin say that his country has become any more safe due to the invasion when, in fact, they've lost control of part of the country? According to the German newspaper Bild, Russia would need to call up about 60,000 troops to guard just that southern region of Russia to prevent further Ukrainian incursion, which is something that Russia cannot do right now because all its troops are committed to the war in Ukraine. So the more that Ukraine, or I should say Russians that are backed by Ukraine in southern Russia, continue to gallop around the region, the worse things become for Putin. How do you justify to your population that you're no longer able to control what is happening domestically in the country? And these are all precursors to what you mentioned, which is the counteroffensive, which is imminent, it would appear, which is going to be, I think, quite a big shift. And I think the Russians destroyed the dam today because they're expecting this counteroffensive to be something that they are not able to counter using their traditional methods of warfare.
Jayson Jay Smart, pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate listening to your analysis. Thank you.